All right, let's see. Stream starting soon. We got the countdown here. We're going to see who pops in, and you guys may not hear me. So we are live, guys. Welcome to the very first Horse Business Builders live show. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And we've got some super exciting things in store because many of you guys have been consuming some content on the podcast, on the YouTube channel, across different social media platforms, as well as even within the Horse Business Builders community. Right, we've got a bunch of free content there in the app. And so today, what we're going to be covering is one of the most important things that we've got going on in our businesses right now to end 2025 super strong and start 2026 super strong. So my promise to you guys, I'm going to set the foundation because this is the first time that we're going live and doing the show live. You guys know we've done a bunch of pre-recorded trainings and content to give to you guys, but we're in one of the most important decision-making seasons in our businesses as horse professionals. And so my promise to you guys, when you see that we're going live and we're doing the Horse Business Builders live show, is that we're going to keep things practical and tactical. All right. And we're going to do that today. I've got some very strategic things. We got set up to where we've got our paper in behind us where we can do some diagramming. We're going to go through some lists, and then we're going to be using the pad today to be able to break some things down. So that way you guys have a clear plan in being able to end this year super strong and start next year super strong to actually achieve the goals that you have in your business. And so before we get into that, though, I want to set the foundation here really quickly because I know a lot of you guys might be checking in on the show for the very first time. And if you come into this going, Colton, just tell me how to make more money, or Colton, just tell me how I can market my business better, or just tell me how I can stop wasting all this time, or how to stop dealing with these types of people, you're probably going to get a little bit frustrated, okay? And I'm just going to be very upfront with you about that, because one of the biggest things that I believe in is in teaching people to fish, not just giving people fish. And even though my journey started in training horses, teaching clinics, and those types of things, and now we are completely focused on helping horse professionals build better businesses, because the better your business runs, the better you can serve your clients, the better you can serve your students, the better you can serve those people in your life. I've always been focused on building, when it was with horses, is building confident, independent horses. With my clients, I want my clients to be confident, and I want them to be independent. I want them to be able to continue building on the success that we help them start even after their time with us in the barn. And I approach it the same way in our businesses. I'm going to take you through the practical and the tactical steps in building successful horse business so that you can so you understand how to market your business to get better customers. How can you build a brand to where you can charge what you're truly worth? How can you have a process in place to be able to bring the right types of clients on to where you're not dealing with headaches down the road, right? And so I'm going to take you through the process, the step-by-step process. And we understand that anything in horses, whether it's being a farrier, being a trainer, being a body worker, being a clinician, being a coach, being an instructor, right? Real mastery in our craft as horse professionals is not in all this complicated, fancy stuff. Real mastery is, number one, becoming committed to the basics, and then mastering the basics and being able to do the basics with really high quality and be able to break down those steps, master them with high quality, and then start combining the basics to where we can start creating some really cool outcomes, right? Whether that is being able to fix very difficult issues as a farrier or a trainer or a body worker, or being able to help a student in a lesson overcome a really tricky problem. Being able to do that as a horse professional comes from your ability and your commitment to getting really good at the basics. And I think any of us understand that. And we have to treat our business the same. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see horse professionals make, is that they want their clients to be committed to their process in their craft as a horse professional. Yet then when they go to run their business, they're like, well, I just want to make more money, or I just don't want to have to do all this business stuff, or I just want to be able to get the right types of clients, or I just want to be able to charge what I'm worth, or I just want to be able to take a couple of days off. And it's like, you don't just get to do that. What you need to do is you need to commit yourself to actually building the processes, having the right strategy, right? What it takes to be successful as a horse professional, what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is the exact same thing. As a horse professional, what do you need? You need to have a strategy. You need to have an approach for each situation, so that way you can go from where you're at to where you want to go. You have to have the systems and the tools as a professional, whether you're a trainer, right? You have to have the right approach. You have to have the right tools, so that you have the right bit, the right saddle, the right pad. As a farrier, you have to have the right rasp, the right knife, all this. We have to have the right strategy. We have to have the right tools, and we have to have the right support to be able to get us there. Well, treat your business like you treat your craft, and guess what will start happening is that you'll start to get clients that start to treat your business like you want them to treat your business. But you're like, I don't understand why people don't respect my time, or I don't understand why people won't pay what I'm worth, or I don't understand this, or I don't understand that. I don't understand why I don't have more constant flow of clients. Why can't I build a wait list? All of these types of things. And it's like, when you start treating your business like you want your clients to treat your business, it's funny how your clients start treating your business like you want them to treat your business, but it starts with you as the professional. And so what it takes to become a very high quality professional that is truly focused on serving our customers, serving our clients, and serving our students, and serving our horses, what that takes from the horse side of things is almost exactly what it takes on the business side of things. But the reality is that many of us as horse professionals got into this because we want to spend time with horses and doing the craft that we love doing. We didn't necessarily get into it for the business side. Well, at some point, we all got to wake up and smell the roses and go, if we're really serious about serving our horses, our clients, and our students at a high level, we have to take responsibility, and we have to make some critical decisions about our business, and we have to actually take action to have the right structure, have the right strategy, have the right systems and tools in place, so that we can focus on the most important thing, which is where our time, our effort, our energy, our skills, and our talent is most needed, which is in serving our horses, our clients, our students, right? And that means that we have to say, well, then, what are all these other things that take me away from that? And how can I stop doing that? Because I shouldn't be doing that if it detracts me from the one thing that I'm meant to be doing. And so, awesome. And so really glad to have you guys here. Some of you guys are dropping in the comments, and I appreciate that, because this is our very first live show. So you guys, if you are watching live, drop some comments. We're on a brand new platform here, getting things rocking and rolling. So just want to set the tone for what you guys can expect moving forward from the show, right? And today, what we're going to be diving into specifically, because I think it's very timely. A lot of us are getting ready to go into we got in this state. If you guys are in the United States, right? We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're spending some time with family, and all of us should be able to take some time to do that. But we're also going into the wintry months, right? Things are getting a little colder across the country. Things are slowing down potentially. We'll talk about why it might be slowing down. Do you want it to slow down? But ultimately, this is one of the most important decision-making seasons for all of us as horse business owners. And the reason being is, like, I'm going to take you guys through some very tactical and practical pieces today of outlining how can we set ourselves up for success going into 2026, because it's not the things that we do in February or March or April that will decide the level of success that we're able to achieve in our businesses for the rest of the year. It's the decisions that we make now in the next 30 days that will set the foundation, that will set the tone, that will be the structure that will start to create the type of success that we actually achieve in the new year, right? So it comes down to what we're doing in the next 30 days, right? A lot of people will go through this season of time and want it to slow down. They're like, oh, well, it always slows down in the winter, right? A business always slows down in the winter. And it's like, does it actually slow down in the winter, or do you just take your foot off the gas and therefore things start to slow down in your business because you want them to slow down? It's completely okay. I love this time of year, right? I love spending time with my family. right? This morning, waking up, getting the turkey ready for tomorrow, right? Cutting things up with my daughter. And we all should be able to spend time doing those things with our family this time of year. But we have to be very objective and very real about why would things slow down? Is it because the industry actually slows down? It doesn't, right? It's oftentimes because we want it to slow down. But the issue becomes that if you want to take some time away and your business slows down, you don't just have a business, you have a job, right? Because if everything depends on you in your business, then when you can't work or don't work, then things don't work. And that doesn't build profitable, sustainable businesses that are focused on serving our clients and our horses at the highest level. Because in order for us to be able to serve our clients and our horses, guess what we have to be first and foremost? Consistent, right? We have to be consistent. And that means that we have to understand that we don't rise to the level of our goals, right? We fall to the level of our systems. Many of us heard that. And the reason we've heard it time and time and time again is because it's true. So we want to be very objective about this time of year and what the realities are, because a lot of people will get to this time of year and go to start making some decisions. And instead of making strategical decisions, we'll start being like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, or I'm burnt out, or my, finances are tight. And there's nothing wrong with addressing, we should relish in the emotion of it. You could be excited for the year that you're going to have in 2026. Or you could be like, I had some things in 2025 that I never want to experience again. And you could relish in the anguish, relish in the pain of that for a little bit and going, hey, that was painful. I never want to go through that again. But you have to make a decision. Am I going to react? Right? And you can make reactive based decisions out of excitement, and you can make reactive based decisions out of fear or out of anxiety or out of stress. You don't want to react in either regard, right? We want to make very proactive decisions about how are we going to set ourselves up for success in the coming months and in the coming year. And a lot of professionals will want to wait, right? And these are the things we don't want to do, right? You don't want to wait until March or April or May when it starts to warm up and you start to feel better, because you're like, oh man, the weather's better. I feel like getting after it again. Because by the time that happens, you've missed the opportunity to build the momentum, to build the foundation, to be able to set yourself up for success, to be able to capture the opportunity that comes with the season, right? Every season has its opportunity. This time of year, one of the biggest opportunities is to be able to set yourself up for success in the coming months, because it takes time, right? To build the momentum. It takes time to get the right things in place, whether that's strategy, whether that's tools, right? Whether it's learning a new skill, it takes time. And that's one of the biggest opportunities of this season that we're all in as horse business owners. And so the other thing too is a lot of times we can get, and we talk about like, I just want to have better clients, or I just want to make more money, or I just want to be able to do this cool thing, or I just want to, whatever it is, right? And they get if we get too focused on the outcome, right, then without actually making the changes to the strategy or to the tools or to the support, right, to actually support the success that we want, it doesn't work, right? And all of us know this to be true with our business. If someone comes in and you're a horse trainer and someone's like, I just want you to teach me how to jump 3-foot fences, or I just want you to teach me how to do a flying lead change. And it's like, they just want the outcome. I just want to have a better relationship with my horse, or I just want my horse to be sound, right? Or whatever, right? You don't just get it, right? If you just focus on the outcomes, right, then you bypass the necessary steps and things that you have to have in place to be able to not only achieve the success, but continue supporting it, right? Because success takes a certain level of maintenance to be able to sustain success. What good is it? And success, right, is all quite subjective. And when we look at what is success really mean, it's not just making more money, right? If money is tight, then we probably need to make more money, right? Or we need to be more responsible with the money that we are already making. But success at the core, as we help horse professionals and as we built our own horse businesses before we even started helping horse professionals, is your business is meant to be a vehicle to build the life that you're meant to be living, to serve the people that you're meant to be serving. Your business is an asset. It's not a set of shackles that keeps you from the life that you want to live. Your business should be your key to freedom to getting there. And we have to be good stewards of the business, right? Within the business, you have to be very good stewards of your time, your effort, your energy, your finances, right? Of the decisions that you're making. And we have to put serving our horses and our clients and our students at the forefront, right? So that way the decisions we're making have their best interest in mind. And we put that at the forefront because a profitable business is a sustainable business. A profitable business allows us to have financial resources to reinvest. But if we're not good stewards of our time, and let's say we're manually doing things that we shouldn't be doing in our business, right? Like manually doing all the scheduling or manually sending all the invoices, things that we have to repetitively do all the time. If we're wasting time doing things that we don't need to be doing in our business, then we're not stewarding our time very well. And then we have less time to be able to dedicate to serving our horses, our clients, our students, and the people that are in our lives, including your husband, your wife, or your kids that need it more than anyone else, right? And they deserve it and they should have it because that's our responsibility as adults. And so our business, right, we have to be intentional with the decisions and the actions that we're taking to be able to build that. And so, right on. And jump in the comments here really quickly. And hey, happy Thanksgiving to you guys too at Cross K. And so awesome. Good to see you guys this morning. And so, so we're gonna keep moving, guys. Right? So we've gone through some of the things that we want to make sure we kind of avoid in our businesses. But then the next thing that we really have to understand, right, is that this season is like the calm before the storm, right? And many of us know, like, winter comes in, cash flow slows down, pressures rise, because we're like, oh my gosh, like, people can start questioning things that are going on. Things are tightening down. We got less clients, might have less money coming in, right? We've kind of prefaced this through, and so the success that we want to have, November to January is, and I'm saying the 1st of January, not through the end of January. Right. But as we hit January, we want to have a lot of momentum going, right? So that we can set ourselves up for success. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you guys through, this is where it's going to get fun, right? Is I'm going to share my screen with you here and let's do this. You guys are going to see how we're going to be able to break this down. So you guys let me know in the comments. Can you guys see my screen here? Because I'm going to take you guys through this framework. And some of you guys have heard me see me teach or heard me teach this framework, but we're going to approach this a bit differently this morning from a decision-making standpoint, right? I've taught the systems within this, but this is what we call I'm just going to put HBB on here. You guys let me know in the comments if you guys can see this. And this is what we call our HBB Freedom Framework, okay? Might run out of space. Okay. All right. This is what I call this is 5 5-step framework, okay? Okay, but we're going to approach this a little bit differently. I'm going to take you guys through these particular things and then we're going to approach this with how can we use this as a filter, right? How can we use this process as a filter to set our businesses up for success going into this next year? And still ending 2025, we still got 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks left in the year to end 2025 super strong. And so we want to use this not just as a straight up process, but we want to use this as a filter for making sure that we're making the right decisions that will set us up for success. So the very first step in this is our decisions making process. I'm going to break down some of the most important decisions for you guys in a few minutes, okay? But some of those, we'll go into this a little bit deeper. But the very first thing the changes that we want to see, the results that we want to see, whether it's more profit, better clients, more time, right? More organization, all of those types of things start with the decisions that we make in our business. And so some of that can look like, what type of revenue do you want to make in the next 12 months? Okay, that can be a decision. And I really believe from a decision-making standpoint, to be able to say, Start with the end goal. What does that end goal look like? And one of the decisions, here's one of the most critical decisions you possibly can make. A lot of people want to set a bunch of goals. Think about, make a decision. What is 1 to 2 things that you can do in your business in the next 12 months that would create radical transformation for your business so that you could better serve your horses, your clients, your students, your family, right? A lot of people like to take, as horse professionals, we're no stranger to working hard. So we're like, I'm going to try to do all this stuff versus realizing a decision is like, what's 1 to 2 things that if I just really focused on in the next 12 months, if I could accomplish that, it could change your life. And I don't say that lightly, but instead of getting distracted, because the world that we live in right now, there is more opportunity to be successful than there ever has been, but there's also more opportunity to be more distracted than there ever has been. And so rather than chasing every little squirrel and rabbit and shiny object syndrome as entrepreneurs, where we see opportunity everywhere, one of the decisions you might make is, what is 1 to 2 really big goals that I could set that and it would take quite a bit of effort, quite a bit of energy, right? Might take a certain level of risk. But if we could pull this off, it would change the trajectory of our business. Okay. If you're not, one of those decisions might be like, we're going to build our brand. Branding is one of the biggest levers that you can make, right? That you can invest in your business to be able to create longevity, sustainability, higher profitability. Like branding, if branding is not something that's in your focus, that might be one of the decisions. Like, we're going to put effort into decisions. So somebody said, what are we doing? Right. This is Horse Business Builders Live show. Okay. You guys put in the comments, what are we doing? So that's what we're doing, is we are going through the practical and the tactical to build successful horse businesses. And so, okay, so we have the decisions, right? Revenue. What do you want your revenue to look like in the next 12 months? What kind of time? What do you want your time like? What does your perfect day, your perfect week look like? How do you want to be spending your time? What do you want to be able to spend your time doing? What do you not want to be able to spend your time doing, right? Intentional decisions, right? This is not sexy, right? But this is what it takes to be able to build a successful business, is mastering the basics, right? So then clients, what type of clients do you want to be working with? What type of clients or students or customers do you not want to be working with? Okay. Make those decisions. Same thing around horses. What kind of horses do you want to be working with? What kind of horses do you not want to be working with? Services or products, right? What type of services do you want to be offering? Was there a service that you offered in 2025 that you don't want to offer in 2026, or vice versa, right? What was something that you would love to offer in 2026 that you haven't before? That could be one of your 2 big things that you step into in this next year. But right, you got the next 5 weeks to get the details of that figured out, so that way you can make the decisions, but also we can use the next 4 steps to make sure that we're successful in actually executing on that in the next 12 months, right? And then boundaries, huge. This is where we use our sales process. I'm going to talk about that in a second, right? Which is, what kind of boundaries do we need to have in place? Do we have healthy boundaries in place? What changes might we need to make in our business to have better boundaries, so that we have the financial health, the time health, like the mental health, the physical health, the emotional health, the spiritual health, the financial health that we need to have as business owners to be able to lead our businesses, lead the people in our businesses, and be able to serve those around us. And even lifestyle, right? Whether it's just you, or you have a husband, you have a wife, you have kids, what do you want your lifestyle to look like? What is that lifestyle that you're working towards? Because again, your business is meant to be a vehicle to build that. Like, when we are, this sometimes gets a little bit controversial, but we all are meant to have freedom in our lives. What that freedom looks like for all of us looks differently. All of us will have different style of time freedom, or financial freedom, or lifestyle freedom. But the freedom that we're meant to have, we're all meant to have freedom, because with that freedom, we are meant to be serving others, right? You're meant to be taking your skills, your talents, your time, your resources, and going serving others. As horse professionals, we serve clients, students, horses. Those are who we're meant to be. But a lot of people think that, to be a horse professional, you're meant to be strapped and be broke, and to not be free, and to be struggling all the time. None of us are meant to be that way, right? That comes from a lack of poor decisions, which is why we start with the decision-making process. For some reason, you guys can't see this on my actual pad. Let me try to refresh this because I was writing this down on this pad here as we're talking. Let me try to reconnect this real quick. This is how you guys know we're live. How do you know that we're live? Because let me try to stop this. Share screen. Share again. Let's try this again. Oops. Everybody's like, is this live? Is this pre-recorded? It is live, my friends. Share. No longer active. Let's try this again. Connect to app. Accept. Connecting. Okay. Try this one more time. I'm going to open it back up. All right. And so you guys are catching the drift, right? Like this all comes down to the decisions that we are making because this affects everything downstream, right? And so here we go. Come on, screen share. Give it a second. Okay. But everything downstream starts with our decisions. A lot of people drift into situations in their horse business that they're like, I didn't really want this, situation. I didn't really want to end up with this situation with a client, or I didn't really want to end up in this situation with, financially or in my time or anything like that. And that's obviously a problem, right? Like you're going to make intentional decisions in your business to get the results that you want to have, or you're going to drift into a situation that you don't want to end up in, right? And the thing is, it's like with horses, either your horses are getting better or they're getting worse. Either your business is getting stronger and better and it's becoming more sustainable, or it's going to become less sustainable. Like it's almost impossible for a business just to be static, just like it's hard for a horse, whether it's their training or their soundness. Like either they are getting stronger and better or they're getting weaker and worse, right? In our business, I think we got it. All right, let me undo that. I'm going to switch back over here. We might have it here, my friends. This is where the persistence comes in. So you can't lose if you don't quit, right? And also too, it's like we're all going to have situations in our businesses. Here we go. In our businesses, and it comes down to a decision. Am I going to go? Am I in my business? How am I going to handle this? Am I going to react? Am I going to respond? How am I going to? In my decision around how do I handle difficulty? Right? Decision is I'm not going to get emotional about it. If we don't quit, we can't lose. So let's just keep going and we'll figure it out as we go. Right? That's one of those decisions. Like set that 1 to 2 big goals and go, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but this is what I'm meant to be doing. Right? This is what's going to allow me to serve the types of horses and the types of people that I'm meant to be serving in my life. And I'll throw this out there. I always like to share this with people in case, because I remember those years where I didn't know this to be true, right? But a decision, we've talked about setting these goals, setting these intentions, but also we have to look at what a decision actually means, right? And so we know what this means is to cut, right? Because think about incision, go to the vet. We want to stay away from there, right? But scission means to cut, and of the Latin root means away, right? And so in a Western mentality, a lot of times we think from a decision-making standpoint, what else do I need to be doing? But oftentimes a decision is, what do I need to stop doing? Because when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. Okay, that is how it works. That is how decisions work. Okay, is when you make the decision of I'm going to put my time, my effort, my energy, my finances towards this part of my business or in my life, you're saying no to something else, right? When I made the decision that I'm going to go live and do this Horse Business Builders live show, I'm making the decision that the days and the times that we do this, I'm not spending it with my kids or spending it with my wife or riding my horses. Okay. Every decision, right? There are pros and cons to that. So we want to be very intentional about this, because when you say, I'm going to serve these types of clients, or I'm going to charge these types of prices, that has a contrary flip to that of, if I focus on serving these people, then I'm not serving these people, right? And that's a really good thing, because from a branding standpoint, if you try to be for everybody, you're going to be for nobody, okay? So you want to be very specific in this. And the more specific you can be, the higher quality results you can drive in your business, right? The more specific you are in how you trim a hoof, or how you perform your body work, or how you train a horse, the higher quality the outcome is. If you're like, oh yeah, just generally pull the rein to the right, you're going to get a general response or a poor response, right? So we want to be specific in this. So next thing, okay, second step. And again, we're using this as a filter instead of, I'm not taking you through all the ins and outs of this in terms of all the individual systems per se, but we're using this framework today as a filter for what decisions do I need to be making to set my business up for success going into this new year. So the second one is what we refer to as our, you guys are going to see my doctor's handwriting, attraction. Okay, that's horrible, but we're just going to roll with it. Okay, attraction. Okay, so this step, right, within the attraction, if we're talking about making decisions, who do I want to serve, right? What type of content am I going to be making, right? That would be a decision within the attraction. But one of the things is, attraction fundamentally is marketing. Okay, every business has to have a marketing system. People have to have a way to find you. And a lot of people go, I don't want to market my business because I don't want people to think I'm salesy. Guess what? Marketing, the reason we look at this is what we do. Whoops. This is how we do it. And this is a principle of how we approach building businesses. We don't just focus on what we do, we focus on how we do it. When you focus on how you do what you do, it changes what you do, right? So we want to attract the right types of customers to our business, right? So if you're thinking about, like, how can I attract the right types of business to work with me? Because if you don't have a marketing system, you don't have people that are interested in working with you. Okay, there's only 4 ways for people to be able to find you: organic content, paid content, partnerships or affiliates, which could be referrals, and then direct outbound, like direct messaging people. Those are the only 4 ways for you to get new customers and new clients. Okay, so you got to make a decision. Which one of those 4 ways am I going to use? And then how will people actually discover how they can help them? Because marketing is you getting your message, put your message to who you can help, letting them know, this is more detail I was planning on going, letting them know how, golly, my brain's going faster than my hands, guys, how you can help them. Okay, that's what marketing is. Marketing is you getting your message to who you can help and letting them know how you can help them, right? That's what marketing is. And so you've got to make some decisions on how are they going to find you, right? What types of content do you need to create? What relationships do you need to build with people, right? If you're going to do partnerships or affiliates or referrals, you need to have relationships with people that can send you clients. If you're going to use organic content, what type of reels are you going to do? What type of Facebook posts are you going to make? What type of TikTok videos are you going to do, right? Where are your clients actually coming from, right? You got to know where you're going to attract them. And if you're going to be able to build an email list, one of the best things you can be doing is email lists and private communities, right? So that way you can get back in touch with them, okay? So you have a sustainable marketing system, right? Sustainable I will tell marketing system. One of the number one things you can have here is an email list, text list, and or private community. Okay? Because organic content is tough to get back in front of people, right? So if you have a sustainable marketing system, you want to have the tools in place that allow you to have a email list, text list in a private community, because you can reach these people consistently this way, right? And that is key. In order to be able to attract the right types of clients, you have to be able to reach them consistently, so that way you can build that relationship with them. You can build the trust with them. You can actually be able to then, over time, as they learn more about you, how you can help them, and what you offer, then they can go, okay, now I'm interested in working with Sally or Susie or John or Bobby, whoever, right? And so you want to have the strategy and the tools in place within your marketing system to get to the right customers. Okay, so that part's really, really important. From here, so I'm bringing this up, guys. I don't want to get lost in just the technicalities of this, because the whole point of today, right, is for you to be looking at where do you want to go with your business in 2026, and where are you currently at right now. I'm taking you through some of these pieces right here, and you might go, that's a hole in my business, right? I don't have that part in the marketing strategy, or maybe I wasn't looking at marketing that way before, or hey, I don't have an email list or a text list or a private community or anything like that. Then you might go, okay, I need those tools in my business so that I have a sustainable marketing process, right? This is first, in order for us to make the strategic changes that we need to make, we have to have the awareness of where we're at, right? We can't fix a problem if we're not aware of the problem, right? We can't move towards a goal if we're not clear on what the goal is, and we're not clear on where we're at, and we're not clear on what the process is to get there, right? These 5 steps: first, decisions; second, attraction; decisions to marketing, right? Attraction is how we do the marketing, but decisions, attraction, these 5 steps I'm taking you through are the core pillars that every business has to have in place to build a sustainable, profitable business. There's no shortcuts, right? There's no shortcuts to becoming a really good horse trainer. There is no shortcuts to becoming a good body worker or a farrier or a trainer or a teacher or whatever. There's no shortcuts to building real businesses that are truly profitable and truly sustainable. Okay, you cannot bypass the basics. And so the third one that we're going to go into here is what we call closing. Okay, this is what we look at as closing the deal. Okay, and this, by definition, is your sales process. Okay, now the sales process is where really healthy client relationships get established. Okay, so this is one of the most important things to realize, is that a couple of things happen in the sales process. Healthy client relationships. Okay, this attracts right customers. I'm going to put an X here for this one. Eliminates tire kickers. Okay, this process eliminates the tire kickers as well. Okay, and so that's really important. So this is not all the results that we get from having a sales process in play, but if you're thinking about the decisions that you're making of how you're going to set your business up for success going into 2026, then you might go, I want to have healthier client relationships in my business, right? I want people that I really enjoy working with, right? Well, then you want to make sure you have a sales process in place, a closing process. If you're struggling to get the right types of customers that really value what you do, and not just what you do, but how you do, you want people that value your process, then you want to have a sales process in play, right? If you're tired of answering the same 20,000 questions in Facebook Messenger about what do you do, how much do you charge, what's your availability, a sales process helps eliminate those problems, right? And so, because the thing is that if we have the wrong clients come into our business, the wrong students, the wrong parents, the wrong customers, right? If those things happen, those are very expensive mistakes, right? We can joke that because we let the wrong people in, now we have to go hire a psychiatrist to be able to deal with the mental and emotional toil that they took on us, because now we're trying to navigate this situation with their horse in our care or whatever. And we're like, oh my gosh, I would need to fire this person, but I'm in a pinch, da 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 da. Like we can joke about that, but we all know that there's some reality to that. The best prevention to that is don't let them in the first place. Have a process that screens out the wrong people and brings in the right people and eliminates the tire kickers. A lot of us, if you make the decision of, I'm just going to answer the people. So here's the thing. Fundamentally, if you are in the position where you're like, yeah, people message me on Facebook or they text me, and I sit there and I spend, an hour or 2 hours on average per person answering the same 20 questions over and over and over again, that is a decision that you make. You are making the decision that you are willing to do that, versus you go, hey, I realize I am wasting a ton of time answering the same questions over and over and over, and a lot of those people are not the right fit, or a lot of those people don't have any intentions of ever paying me. How can I get my time back? How can I stop wasting my time answering the same questions over and over and over again? That's problem number one, right? How can I get these questions answered for people without wasting my time? Okay, got to solve that. We solve that through a sales process, right? Then how do I screen people to where the people that are the wrong fit can first go, this is not the professional for me. So they self-select, they pre-qualify them. They're like, no, it's not for me. But then the other people that are still interested in working with me, I have a way to screen them before I start spending my time in the process. And we use the sales process for this, so we can screen in the right types of clients. Okay. And then we can confirm that. Because here's the thing. This is a sales process. And first and foremost, your sales process is about serving your customers and your clients. Your sales process is not about convincing people to pay you to help them with their horse, right? So if I wrote convincing here, it's not about convincing. It's about serving. Okay, I think we're good. So that the sales process gives us a system to where we can focus on finding and isolating the right people that we're meant to be serving, right? You can't help everybody. So you've got to be able to focus your time, your effort, your energy, your resources in serving those that you can truly help. And that's a branding thing. If you try to be for everybody, you're going to be for nobody. If you try to be for everybody, you can't properly communicate to those that you can actually help. And so in the sales process, our whole goal here is to clearly communicate who we can actually help, and then take them through a process that saves our time, brings the right people closer, make sure, one of the big things is that this process makes sure clients see and know the real value and quality of your business. Okay, this is so important from a sales side, is that the sales process also makes sure that your clients see and know the actual quality of your business, right? This eliminates, we know what this gets rid of? Price shoppers. And it brings in value shoppers. And so if you want people that pick your business based on value, then you want to make sure you have a sales process that allows them to that keeps them informed and puts the value of what you actually do and the quality of what you do at the forefront, to where they're picking you because of the quality and the value that you provide. They're not picking you just out of price and convenience, right? But people will not do that unless you have intentionally made the decision and set up a system in place to where that happens, right? Because consumer psychology has people naturally asking, what are you charging? What's your availability? That's a normal question. But as a business owner, if you want to be price shopped, play the 20,000 questions in Facebook Messenger. If you want people to pick you because of the quality and the value that you provide, then you have to make sure that you have the structure and the systems in place to make that happen. So if you don't, if you're looking at your business right now and you're going, I need healthier client relationships, I need a better way to attract the right types of customers, I need to eliminate wasting time with tire kickers, I want to make sure that I'm having people that are picking my business because of the value, and you don't have that in place now, then a priority going into this next year is making sure that you have a sales system set up that allows this to happen in your business. Okay, that's really important. And so from a tools-based standpoint, right now, here's the thing: the tools that we use are the tools that my amazing wife built, called Horse Business Manager, right? When we talk about email lists, text lists, websites, applications, all those things, the number one tool that we can recommend to you is called Horse Business Manager. Okay, not everything that we do is because of this platform right here. Okay, and so this is an all-in-one place for you to run your business, right? It saves on average 20 hours a week for most horse professionals is the average amount of time. There are businesses that save way more than that, and there are some businesses that'll save 10 to 15 hours, right? But if you just look at 20 hours a week is what it's saving, 1,000 hours a year, right? That's average, normal, conservative amount, right? If you charge $50 an hour, that's $50,000 of your time that can go back towards serving your horses, serving your clients, serving your students, putting it with your family, right? Spending time with your husband, your wife, all those people that are actually need your time, effort, and energy. Okay, that's where your time should be going. So when we talk about tools, the number one tool we recommend and that makes this whole show happen is Horse Business Manager, right? We built it because it's what my training business needed in the beginning. Other horse professionals have been asking for years, what do you use? And so that turned into us creating this platform. So it's a no-brainer, right? This is what it saves, not what it costs. Okay, saves. Average, low, and that's just time saved. That's not when we talk about like having the right sales systems in place, having the right marketing systems in place, having the right delivery systems, which is what we're going to get into next, right? Then we're talking about actual profit increase in your business, okay? And that's just time saved. That's not even money made in the business. So I'm going to move this up here, and let's go here, and let's see. I'm going to see if I can screen share this. I think I can. All right. We're going to see if this keeps working. I'm going to have to plug you guys in here. You guys wonder, are you live? Yes. Okay. Does this? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So number 4, guys, delivery. This is where most horse professionals lose the most time. So we're talking about you're like, how can I possibly save 1,000 hours? It's not that much. It's like saving you 2 hours on average a day from answering messages, from client communications, from billing, marketing, right? It's so easy for 2 hours a day to get lost just in day-to-day stuff. And that's where most people lose so much time, right? So when you get into the delivery, once someone pays you and you're delivering that service, right? The question you have to really look at this is like, do I have a system in place that handles these 4 things? Because there's 4 areas that every horse business has to handle. Number 1 is scheduling. 2 is payments and invoices. And this is where we talk about really getting sustainable and profitable, right? If your scheduling is out of whack, if your payments are out of whack, if your day to day tasks, if your day to day tasks are scattered and you're not prioritizing those, it's so easy to get overwhelmed, to get stressed out, to get behind, right? And if your scheduling is not proactive, if your payments are not, like your profit and your money coming into your business should be predictable, right? It should be predictable. And then the fourth thing here, and I've already alluded to this, is your communications. And I'll just put with clients. Right. And so it's so easy when you look at the amount of time. I would challenge you in the next day or two, or in the next week, to add up how much time do you spend on average doing these things on a monthly basis, because it will creep up on you. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that we get behind on these things, and then we have to spend an entire day or an entire 2 days trying to catch up on all of this. And this also, with payments and scheduling, is just like overall finances. We're close to the end of the year where we want to be up to date on our books, right? We don't want to be waiting until April 14th to do our taxes. Not a good idea, right? Because it's the decisions, the financial decisions you make in the next 4.5 weeks or so will determine what your taxes look like, right? So we want to be intentional. We want to be on top of these things, from payments and invoices. That way that our income is reliable, our profit is reliable, but also we can make intentional decisions going forward. And all of this is where, like, within the closing process, we set the tone for that client relationship, right? Then in the delivery is where we deliver on those expectations. If you want clients that respect your time, you need to be on top of your time management. If you want clients that pay you on time and are happy to pay you, you want to make sure that you have a way for it's easy for them to pay you on time each and every time, right? If you don't have these systems in place, then people start wondering, like, I don't understand why clients don't respect my time, or why they're communicating and sending me a text message at 11:30 at night. It's like, probably because you don't have the structure in place, and you haven't. We're talking about making decisions for next year, right? You have to make the decision that I'm going to take control of these 4 pillars in my business that have to be done. And when I take control and I'm intentional with how I run my scheduling, how I do my payments and my invoicing, how I prioritize my day-to-day tasks, and how I'm going to communicate with my clients, then your clients will be more respectful of your time. They'll be more professional in terms of paying you on time. They're going to communicate more clearly, which eliminates a lot of the client headaches that happen down the road, right? So we have to handle all of these things in our businesses, right? And so we want to be aware of where are we currently at? How are we currently running these 4 things in our business? And what improvements do I need to make my business more successful next year? Okay. And then the 5th thing, and that, like, so number 5 is where, here's the thing, is like, I spent a little more time going through that because it's pillars. Exactly how you're going to do that in your own business, it depends on your specific business, because the way a farrier is going to run their schedule is a little different than a trainer or a boarding facility is going to run their schedule. But those are the 4 things that we all have to handle as horse professionals to make that happen. Now, the 5th one here is massive. Like, if you're talking about increasing profitability, increasing the sustainability of your business to where you can shut this revolving door and you can really move things forward in your business, is what we call retain. And from a business sense, this is what we call upsell, but this is also where we say serve. Okay. Retain and serve, which is we want to retain the best clients, the clients that we love working with, retaining those people in our business. How can we continue serving those people in our business? Because so many horse professionals, so one of the most expensive things in any business is getting new customers and getting new clients. It takes a lot of time to develop that trust, for them to get to know you, right? For them to figure out how you can help them. And when you have clients that you are serving, that you love working with and they love working with you, one of the best things that you can do for them and their horses and yourself is go, how can I keep working with this person? How can I keep serving them? Because when you keep serving them, right, you don't have to replace them. And when you continue serving them, you can continue helping them get higher quality results, better experiences, things that directly benefit them and their horse. So this is not, when a lot of people see this and they're like, okay, I'm going to retain it and I'm going to upsell them. A lot of people get focused on upsell. Okay, when you continue serving someone, guess what they're going to do? They're going to continue paying you. And that's beneficial for your business. But it's also beneficial. This is about putting the customer and the client and their horse at the forefront, right? If you get somebody and they're not the right fit, don't retain them and don't upsell them. Don't keep serving them. Set them free. Okay. If you bring somebody in and you're like, you know what, this was great. I was able to help them with what we did, but they're just not the right person for us to continue serving. Maybe because they have different goals or different ambitions or different set of problems or whatever. Then you say, okay, this was great. This worked out really well. We served the best we could. They had a good experience. And then you set them free to go, continue on their journey. But for the right people that you can continue serving and it's in their best interest and it works out for you too, then be intentional about how you can retain them. What can you do to continue helping them? Because when you solve one problem for them, it leads to another set of problems. And it's like if someone, a farrier is an easy example of this because a farrier has a very good retention program, but a farrier might get hired to fix a horse that has a soundness issue. And then from after that, they fix the soundness issue. And then the client might go, well, okay, now thanks for fixing that because you're the high-end guy that fixes soundness issues. I'm going to go back to my regular farrier if you'll just catch him up to speed on what to do. And you're like, no, like this takes high quality maintenance, right? And from a trainer standpoint, you can train a horse, you can train the owner, and then from there, the owner's going to need support to continue with the training to maintain the level of training that you did on that horse, right? So they're going to need some type of support, whether that's in-person support, virtual support, lessons, whatever it is, right? But there's a way to continue serving them, and we should do that with them. And the big thing that you have to understand is we talked about like marketing is expensive, right? Every client that you bring into your business costs you real money. It costs you time to bring that customer in. When you retain them, then that cost that you incurred, I'll just do this. This is nerdy business, but you guys are here. And so I'll explain this to you, okay? So when you acquire a new client, right, you have something called CAC, which is cost to acquire a client. And let's just say it costs you $200 to bring in a new client, which for a lot of people is going to cost a hell of a lot more than that. Because that means that if it was $50 an hour, which I used that example earlier, if it took you 4 hours of your time to bring in a new customer, then it would cost you $200. Well, it probably costs you more than that in time. So $200 is probably conservative to bring in a new client. Then you have something called LTV, which is lifetime value. This is how much money they spend with your business. So let's just say that they come in and they spend $1,000 with you for the service number one. Okay. So they spend $1,000. This right here is a 1 to 5 ratio, right? Of LTV or CAC to LTV. Okay. So you spent $1 in marketing and in customer acquisition, you made $5 back. Pretty dang good return. Fair enough. Right. But then if you can retain them, and let's say that they spend another $1,000 just for easy numbers. Okay. They spend another $1,000 for service number 2. Then that revenue goes, they spend the $1,000 here. You get my point. So this ratio becomes a 1 to 10. Okay. And so now for the same dollar that you spent to acquire that client, instead of just making the $5, your business is making $10. It instantly boosts the profitability of your business. And because you retain that customer, if that spot stays full, you don't have to go incur another $200 right away. Okay. So this is real business. Like this is understanding. You may not know how much it costs you to acquire a client. You should figure that out. but I wouldn't get caught up on that too much. What I would understand is that it costs you real time and real money to bring a customer in. And if you have someone that you can continue helping, you should. You should continue helping them. Because when you do help them, it's in their best interest, it's in their horse's best interest, and it makes a radical difference in the sustainability and the profitability of your business. And the more sustainable, the more profitable are, the more that you can be around to actually serve people and help them, right? And so we want to make sure that we have an intentional retain and upsell process in our business to continue serving the right customers, right? Because oftentimes too, those types of customers that we retain and sell, guess what they become? Really good referral sources. Because they have friends, they have colleagues, they have people that they ride with. And they're like, hey, Susie, you should go over to John. John can really help you. And now they're able to bring you customers that cost you less in your CAC, right? Cost to acquire a client, because they're really strong leads from people. And so then the more, because if you could keep those really strong people around, then you have a really good culture, a really good environment. And it's really fun to work with these people, right? And they're happy to pay you because you're helping them and you're serving them. And it's a really good environment. But it comes down to being intentional, right? Don't let your business just have that revolving door, right? And so, and this becomes possible. How can you retain an upsell? Well, people only want you to continue serving them if what? If they had a really good experience in the delivery process, right? And so that's why all of this has to work together. You can start building that foundation with the decisions that you're making, but then if you over market and under deliver, right? So you oversell it and you over promise on your marketing, and then you under deliver in the delivery, it's going to cremate your reputation, right? So when in your marketing, none of the marketing is about overselling anything. Marketing is about clearly communicating how you can help people, who you help, and then guiding them to take next steps. Right? The sales process is there to protect, right? We talk about a horse business trifecta. The sales process is built on that trifecta. Okay. Actually, I can draw this now. I usually have to do this little deal like that where I have to do it virtually, but now I can. So this is what we call horse business trifecta. Okay. I'm excited. This is fun. All right. I hope you guys are having fun. Okay. And so let's just say you have the horse. It does not matter. I started putting the horse at the top of the triangle because everyone got all offended on who I put at the top of the triangle. Okay. But the horse is not an idol, by the way. But we can put the horse there. Let's put the owner over here. And then let's put the professional here. Okay. So you get all of these. Okay. So in order for this to work, right, this is about the relationship being the right fit for everybody. Okay. The horse business trifecta, we primarily we want to make sure that this is in place. So we enforce this by our marketing. Our marketing attracts the right types of customers, but also marketing can sometimes attract the wrong ones depending on what type of content people see. That's okay. That's why we have a sales process. The sales process is a filter to find the right types of customers and clients. And in the sales process, that's where us as a business owner has a process in place and even like a final phone call to make sure that this is in alignment, right? Because the thing that we have to understand is that all of these are like, I'm going to draw this a little differently real quick just to make sure it's more clear for you guys. Okay. Give me one sec. Okay. So it's still a triangle, okay? But what we have to understand here is it's not a very beautiful triangle. What we have to understand is that not every professional is for every horse, and not every horse is for every professional. So we have to make sure, is the horse and professional line the right fit, right? Am I the right professional for this horse? And is this horse the right horse for me as a professional? Okay, that our sales process is to make sure of that. Again, not every professional is for every owner, and not every owner is for every professional. Okay. So we want to make sure that through our sales process that we're the right professional for that client, that customer, that owner, And that owner is the right type of owner or client, customer, or whoever for us as a professional. And then the fun one is not every owner is for every horse, not every horse is for every owner, right? So we have to I would really truly believe it's our fiduciary duty as business owners to make sure that as much as we can in the sales process, that this is in alignment. Because if we can make sure that this is in alignment, we are setting ourselves up for a lot more success when we get into actually delivering the results to our customers and for our horses. And so that's what we want to make sure in the sales process. Then we execute, right? We in the sales process, we're making sure that those good client relationships and boundaries and expectations and communications and respect of time are set up in the sales process. And we deliver on all of that in the delivery process. And then for the right ones, we retain and we continue serving them. And so I want to take you guys. So we went through, we said some of these. I will break this down, and I've got like 7 quick steps that I want to share with you guys that will help you be able to plan 2026. You guys let me know if this has been helpful for you guys. For those some of you guys that might have been jumped in, jumped out, listened to the whole thing, whatever you got going on, let me know in the comments if this has been helpful, if this is resonating. I'll take some questions. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat, right? So we'll do that here in just a few minutes with the Q&A, okay? So you guys can drop some questions in the chat. But when we talk about the decisions, because all of this has been talking about, 2026 decisions, right? That's what we're really boiling all this down to, which is, should you raise your prices? Should you change your prices? Okay, that's the decision to make, right? Should I change the types of clients that I'm working with, right? Should I offer a new service? What type of services should I be offering, right? Maybe you're thinking about creating a course or a membership or something like that. Then that's a consideration. Should you hire help, right? Do you need better systems, better tools, right? We'd certainly love to help you with Horse Business Manager, right? And it's a no-brainer once you see how much of a difference it can make. But do you need to fix a scheduling system? Do you need an easier way for you? Here's the thing. When it comes to getting paid, you should make it easy for your clients to pay you, right? If it's hard for clients to start working with you because it's very mechanical in terms of them, how are they going to sign a contract? They should be able to e-sign it. It's 2025, almost 2026. They should be able to e-sign a contract. They should be able to pay directly from their phone. If they can't do those things, and you're making it hard for them to commit, hard for them to pay, you're creating more pain in your business, which makes it painful for your clients. It makes it painful for you. You got to make some changes. That is on you as the business owner. You should make this as easy as possible for them, right? You might be deciding, do I need to do a rebrand, right? Do I need to change the positioning of my brand so that way what people actually see about my business actually matches the real quality that I'm providing? I see that's a big hole that a lot of horse professionals run into when I go check out their social media, when I check out their websites, is that the quality that is represented online is far lower than what they're actually providing in person. That is the majority. And there's always some naysayer that's like, oh, there's someone that's always overselling themselves. Guess what? They're much fewer than the people that are undervaluing. Most horse professionals undervalue and undercommunicate the value that they provide. Maybe you need to get your branding on par. Because it's not about the money, it's about attracting the right types of customers. The money follows the right types of customers. If you want people to actually pay for the quality that you're providing, you have to be able to communicate the value that you're providing so that they can see the value that you're providing. They can't pay for something they don't know exists. And branding that's why I said at the very beginning of this, branding is one of the best investments. It confuses a lot of horse professionals because they're like, I don't understand how branding gets my money back. Right? Branding creates the clear communication of the true value that you're providing, and it creates real sustainability in your business because you're building longevity in your business. Right? Branding is focused around not just what you do. Branding is not rooted in what you do. What you do supports how you do what you do. So when you focus on the values that you have, the quality that you're committed to, who you're serving, the mission that you're on, the real core anchor points of your program, what you do, can evolve over time, but your mission and your values stay the same, right? And that puts that at the forefront. And then what you do supports that, which attracts the people that actually value what you have going on in your business. And so you might need to, that's a little bit more in depth, but you might need to make some decisions about improving the branding of your business so that way you can attract the right types of customers, and then it makes it more fun and makes it way more enjoyable to serve those types of people, right? And you might need to make the decision of like, I need a real marketing strategy, right? I need a real marketing strategy, right? And so those are all things that you can consider as you're approaching 2026, right? And like I said, if you guys got questions, drop them in the chat. We're going to get there in a second because I'm going to take you guys through. We got seven things. I've given you guys a lot, okay? But the thing is that if we're not aware of these things, it's hard to make intentional decisions within our business. And we want to be able to make intentional decisions, okay? So I'm going to pop this thing down. There we go. And so get number one, okay? This is how we guide professionals through planning the new year. We've done some recent trainings in the Horse Business Builders community. If you guys haven't done that, there is a free community app as well that you guys are able to jump in if you want to. It's a free app. You can download it. And if you just go to horsebusinessbuilders.com/free, /free-community, you can join us there. It's free. There's tons of resources. There's tons of trainings like this. This is the first live one that we've done publicly. We've done live trainings within the app, and we will continue to do this. We had one just 2 days ago. We did a live training on Monday, and awesome time in there for those. So if you guys want to be surrounded by other horse professionals, it's only for horse professionals. If you want to be surrounded by horse professionals that are dedicated to building real businesses, highly recommend you go check that out. Otherwise, that's there for you. But we want to get into like, how do we actually, what are some, we said practical and tactical, right? So number one, get super clear on your vision, your outcome that you want to see in the next 12 months. Where do you want to be this time next year, right? What is the outcome that you want to have? Where do you want to be from a time freedom, financial freedom, from an opportunity standpoint, right? Your business is the vehicle to create that. If you build a real business, your business is meant to build time freedom, financial freedom, and bring the opportunities in that you're meant to have. Okay? Starts with you being intentional and making that decision on doing that. What kind of opportunities, what type of time freedom, what type of financial freedom do you want to be experiencing in your life this time next year? It's not some like feel good thing. Like if you don't get clear on it, it's hard to actually build a plan to get there. Right? So it's just being real about it. Like, where do you want to be? Make some decisions. Don't be afraid to be big, right? Don't go tell your big dreams to small-minded people. They'll drag you down, right? But go dream big and then surround yourself with people that dream bigger, and they'll pull you up and they'll make you go, oh man, you got to dream bigger than that. That's the fun stuff. That's what we do, with horse professionals. That's where it's meant to be. So then the other thing is you got to assess, where are you currently at? Okay. Where are you currently at? What is the strategy that you're currently using? What are the tools and the systems that you're currently using? What is what level of support do you currently have in your business? And is the strategy you're currently using, is the tools and the systems that you're currently using, is the level of support that you have in your business the quality and the level that you need to have to be able to get you to where you need to be in the next 12 months? Or do you need a higher quality strategy? Do you need higher quality tools? Do you need higher quality support to be able to achieve that level of success that you want to achieve in the next 12 months, right? You just got to look at where you're at and then go, what do I need to change? Maybe I need a higher quality strategy. I need different tools. I need better tools, right? I need better support, right? And you just got to make that decision. Then number 3, what bottlenecks are you facing, right, in your business? So we just went through the 5 steps. We went through the decisions, the attraction, the closing, the delivery, the retain and upsell. That will help you identify the different bottlenecks, the constraints that you're facing in your business. And you can go, okay, using the 5 steps, I need to address these bottlenecks, these limitations in my business. Cool. Let's get after it. Right? Now you're aware of where some choke points are, and you can go be proactive and you can go fix them. Right? And then number 4, simplify your offers, raise your standards, and raise your prices. Okay? Simplify your offers. We started this by saying that mastery is in the ability to do the basics really, really, really well. And one of the most important things to understand is that simple scales, fancy fails. That comes from Alex Hermosi, who's a big time successful entrepreneur, right? And sometimes we think in order to raise our prices, we have to get fancier. We have to get things more complicated in order for us to raise our prices. But real quality comes from simplification. And when you want people to pay you for the quality of what you do, that means that we have to focus on simplifying what we do. The more simple doesn't make it easy. The more simple we can make it, the more replicatable it becomes, the higher quality results that we can achieve, right? Which means that we can raise our standards because we've simplified the process. We've simplified what we're actually offering so that we can stay committed to the real quality, and we can increase our expectations of that quality, and we can charge the prices that match the quality that we're providing. So, number 4, right? Simplify your offers so that you can increase the quality, so you can raise your standards in every regard, from the delivery to the attraction to the closing to retain upsell. You can raise your standards across your entire business so you can stay focused on real quality and work with people that want real quality. And you can raise your prices to where your prices reinforce, they support the level of quality, right? If you have something that's really high quality, but it's also really cheap, people go, what's wrong with it, right? Something that's real quality has a price that supports it. So you're like, yeah, of course it costs that much because that's the quality that I'm paying for, right? So it's not overcharging and it's not undercharging. It's charging for the quality that's being provided. Number 5, make sure that you install the systems that support the vision that you have and the level of the success that you're working hard to achieve. Systems support your success. Systems allow you to scale your ability to serve the customers and the clients and the students that you have in front of you. Because systems take away the things that you shouldn't be wasting your time doing. Systems allow your business to be more consistent, and they allow you to put your time, your effort, your energy in the things that take your face, your voice, your skills, and your talent. That's where your time should be going. Systems are there to support the success that you have. In every business, in every craft, if you don't have systems, it's really hard to be successful, right? So you can have the strategy, but you have to have the systems that you can lean on that support, that are the infrastructure to support the success that you have, right? So make sure that you have the systems and the tools that you need to in place, right? And then number 6, make these decisions now while you've got time. You've got time in the next 30 days to make these critical decisions and start taking action to build the foundation to set yourself up for success in the coming weeks and in the coming months. If you wait until things are warmer and things feel better, until it feels like there's more energy and more momentum in the industry when weather starts to get warmer, it's going to be too late. It's the work you do when it's quiet that builds the level of success that you can have when the opportunity shows up, right? In your business, you could argue there's more opportunity, there's more activity come springtime. But if you don't have the strategy and the systems to support those opportunities, you'll miss them. You'll lose the time. You'll be overwhelmed. You'll get stressed because things get busy. There's activity and energy, but you don't have the strategy and the systems to support the activity, to support the opportunities, right? Preparation starts now, and it's the seeds you plant now that will decipher what fruit you get to harvest when the weather turns, right? And so you have to make that decision for number 7. Are you going to go into 2026 with clarity and structure and systems and a plan and having support, or are you going to go in there with chaos, right? Are you just be like, I'm just going to kick my feet up. I'm going to enjoy this cooler weather. I'm going to enjoy this slower time, and I'll just deal with this stuff later, right? Procrastination is preparation to being overwhelmed, to missing out on opportunities, to hemorrhaging your time. That's not good stewardship, right? Now is the time for every business owner, and I'm talking to us as horse business owners, to make sure that we're setting our businesses up for success going into the next year, right? So we've gone through this in detail. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the chat if you want to. And the only other thing I'm going to share with you guys here is, and this is something we have not announced, but the page is live, so I'm going to do it. And my wife's going to be like, what are you doing, Colton? Is we have a playbook that is coming out in the next week. Okay. It's a way more in-depth dive than what I talked about in these 5 steps to help you have the strategy, the structure that you need to be able to have a plan going into 2026 to where you can be very intentional about your decisions, your marketing, your sales, your delivery, your retain and upsell to build the foundation of your business. And so this playbook is like 35 pages long. It is extremely in-depth. It is a step-by-step playbook to being able to take your business to that next level, to be able to, when you're talking about what is that 12-month vision, this playbook is the foundational thing that will allow you, it'll give you the structure to build on to make that happen. And so it's 100% free. If you go to that link, it's horsebusinessbuilders.com/freedom-ebook. You can get that. We're going to send it. You're not going to get it right away because we're finishing it up, but you'll have it in about the next week or so, and plenty of time to start using it to be able to actually build, grow, and scale your business. And if you guys are, we've talked about a lot about the tools and the systems needed to make this happen in your business. If you're interested in getting and figuring out, is Horse Business Manager going to be the right tool for you in your business, you can book a free demo. Okay, you can go to horsebusinessmanager.com. You can click on schedule a free demo, or you can go to horsebusinessmanager.com/HBM-demo-call. Okay, and you can schedule your demo there, and we will walk you through. And the main thing that we're going to do on that call is we're going to figure out where you're at in your business, what systems will make the biggest difference, and will Horse Business Manager make the difference that you need in your business? Does it make sense for you? And if it does, then we'll be more than happy to get you squared away, because every horse professional that comes in there gets the exact systems that they need for their specific businesses, not generic systems. We have specific systems for farriers, for body workers, for breeding facilities, for horse trainers, right? For every different type of horse business, nearly. Okay, I can't say every type because somebody will come up with something obscure, but for nearly every single business owner, horse business owner, we have systems that are built specifically for those business needs to help you out. So we've got that there. Last call on the Q&A, and then we'll wrap this one up, guys. But I really appreciate you guys being here for our first inaugural Horse Business Builders live show. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. It's y'all's feedback that we're going to do, we're going to use to be able to come up with upcoming episodes, coming show. And if you want the replay to this, we will make this live in the Horse Business Builders community, right? We'll make sure that the replay is up there for you guys there. So if you haven't downloaded the app, it's 100% free. It's on Apple, it's on Android, and it's only for horse professionals. We got a lot of in-depth trainings. There's lots of great conversations going on in there, and we've built that to support fellow horse professionals, because the fact of the matter is, the better our business runs, the better we can serve our horses, the better we can serve our clients, the better this industry gets. And I think that's what we're called to do, is that we're not, we're meant to make this better today so that we can reap some of that harvest, but we're also meant to make sure that we're building an industry that sets the next generation up for success as well. And that comes down to the decisions, the actions that we're taking in our own businesses right now, because we are, we're sowing seeds every day. We're laying the foundation. We are the example for the next generation. And also, we're the things that we take actions around will be the direct implications of the fruit that we're able to harvest, so that we can have the financial resources, we can have the time resources, we can have the opportunities that allow us to serve our horses, our clients, our students, our families, our kids, our husbands, our wives, our community, and everyone around us. And so it all comes out, as business owners, it's such a great blessing to be able to serve those around us. And that's what we're meant to be focused on. We're focused on serving you guys as horse professionals. I really appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving.